All right, welcome back to the 6-week setter. I've got my helpers with me today. This is Kahea. Hi, Kahea. This is Noah. Okay, and we're gonna get ready to start talking to you about generic sets. So left side, right side, back row, and over the net. Those are the 4 generic sets that we wanna be comfortable with and good at. So we're gonna intermix some of the things we've already talked about. For around the world, you've had to go forward, you've had to go backwards, and to each side. And then with baby sets, you've had to do the same thing. So now we're gonna input a little bit of the heavy ball, a little bit of the regular ball, and start building some of this stuff up. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have them go one after the other, and I'm gonna give them 1 heavy ball rep to every 2 regular ball reps, and they're just gonna work at setting an inside ball to the left side after they baby set. So check it out what it looks like. So Noah will step up, and she's gonna go right, left, right with her footwork. I'll toss her the ball. She's gonna go baby set after that right, left, right, and then do a left, right, and catch the ball, and I'll snatch it from her. Kaya's gonna do the same thing, and then after that, I'll give each one of them a regular ball, where they'll go baby set, 1, 2, extension set me inside, and the third ball they do will be 1 touch, extension set inside. We want that inside set about 10 feet off the sideline for right now. As we get more advanced, we'll start to work it back. See what it looks like. So, baby set, 1, 2, push. Baby set, 1, 2, push. Regular ball, 2 touches. Baby set, extension set. Notice they hold the finish every time. Then make sure I see their palms and 1 touch now. Good. Then back to the beginning. Baby set, 1, 2, catch. Push. Notice the balance in the legs every time. They have 12 inches between those knees. 2 touches. They're going to show you how to come in set up in a stance. So about a 25% bend between their knees, 1 touch. Every time showing the palms. Every time, that ball's on top of their forehead, they're checking their elbow position, making sure it's in line with their eyes, and then continuing to show those palms, driving through the legs, then the wrists, then the triceps. And hands will always finish the move. Alright, so the reason that we start this way is we can start to make our setters a little bit more consistent using their wrists first when they get ready to set the ball rather than poking at it or jabbing with their elbows. So this is why we want to warm up on the wall with those baby sets and getting our wrists nice and comfortable, and then we can move this stuff to the court. And the reason they use that primary and secondary footwork is so they're in the habit of moving their feet. So each time they have 2 touches, they have a first footwork that they do, they touch the ball, they have a second footwork that they do before they touch the ball again. Now I'm going to spread out a little bit all the way to the left side outside, okay? And later on in the course we'll talk about tempo of the set. For right now I just want them to look and make sure that their shape of the set is above the net at some point in time, and they're aiming to get the ball about 2.5 feet off the net on the left side. I'll still start in front of them. Check it out. So now baby set catch. And now they'll each stay for 2 in a row, 2 touches all the way out. Nice. Making the distance. Really nice. Yeah. Touches. Really nice. Notice she shows the palms. She has that 12 inches between her knees. Nice. 1 touch, Noah. Nice. 1 touch, Noah. Really nice. Yeah, 1 touch. Alright, now a little piece we can add on to this is we'll just have them come out of the back row. If you're doing this by yourself in a gym, you can choose to have your athlete stay, or you as the athlete can stay, or you can start to add game-like pieces. So I'm going to have both of them with their feet on the 10-foot line. I'm going to bounce the ball off the ground to simulate that the serve has been touched. They're going to enter using the words I'm in, or they can say their name, or they can say I'm right here, they can say on my forehead, they can really say whatever they want as long as it symbolizes that they want the ball passed to where they are. All right, and then they're going to get one touch, and then the next person's in. Check it out. Notice the extension? Good. Notice they get balanced up super early in that setter's box before that toss comes. Alright, so that's just getting them comfortable adding the vocals, starting to talk a little bit. What I'm going to do now is they'll stay for 3 reps in a row while the partner catches. Each time the partner's catching, you may or may not see it, but they'll be catching in the setting position, so they're working on getting extra reps. One person is going to stay in the setter's box, so they're working on their consistency, seeing if they can try to get the same ball 3 times in a row. At level 1, it's not super important that the ball's in the same spot every time. We just want to start to get clean with our technique. And I'll keep calling out the things that are important to them as we go. I'm moving my starting position now, so rather than starting in front of them as a tosser or a passer, now I'm going to be coming from area 5. So they're going to start open facing me. As the ball's in the air, they're going to move their feet and get square to the left side with that right, left, right. And then they're going to extend, open up, and then face me again for their next 2 reps. Check it out. Finishing together every time. Alright, and now I can spread them out just a little bit. So I'll take them, their first rep in system, right there on the money. Their second rep, I'll take them towards diagonal 1. Their third rep, I'll take them straight forward to the short side. They're going to work at having early feet, whether it's a 3-step or a 4-step move, just playing with which one will allow them to get their feet down on time. They're going to have that consistent ball pocket, consistent release, consistent finish, and now I'm going to ask them to add their vocals as they get ready to come in for that first rep each time. Here we go.
I'm in.
Alright, Noah's in, she's talking.
Right here.
And you notice as they get ready to come off the net, every time they're squaring to that 2.5 foot off the net spot.
I'm in.
And you can choose how much time you want to give to your setters. Right now, these 2 have been working with me for a little while, so I push the pace on them. If you have somebody who's just starting out, or if you're just starting out, maybe you give them 3 seconds in between each rep to check their setup, check how it looks, check how it feels, make whatever corrections you want, and then give the next rep. So I'll give you an example of what that could look like.
I'm in.
Noah finishes her set. I check her stance, make sure she's got 12 inches, hands are even, she's facing me, and she may talk again, she may not.
I'm in.
She finishes that set. I check her reset, make sure her knees are good, toes are good, shoulders are good. She's facing me. 3rd set. Nice finish. She switches. Your head's talking on her way in.
I'm in.
I check her setup. Her hands are good. Everything's good. In system. Boom. Check her. Boom. Alright, so that's some of the stuff we can do to get that left side set consistent. The next thing we're going to work on is the overhead set. Alright, right, this is a set that a lot of people fear when they first start setting. If you'll notice, primary setters when they're really young, a lot of times will only set the left side. We want to get comfortable right away with going overhead. So if you have a setter who you feel like isn't super confident, or you are a setter who's not super confident going overhead, then try doubling up your reps. So if you get in the gym or you're training, maybe you do a 1-to-2 ratio. For every time you set a left side ball, you set 2 overhead. Maybe it's a 1-to-3 ratio. It really depends. If you feel confident in both, you keep it 1-to-1. You always want to make sure your percentages over time end up leaning towards the things you do well, get a couple reps, and the things you want to improve on, get the majority of the reps. So, I'll go back to standing in front of these two. They're going to work on that same footwork, right, left, right, in system. Every time I'm going to ask them to square their shoulders, hips, knees, toes to 2.5 feet from the left side off the net. All right, and then from there, I want to teach them how to manipulate the ball. So if they're at 2.5 feet touching the ball, they can go straight back over their head. If I move them off the net to 6 feet, then they've got to start making a 2.5 to 3.5 foot angle over their right shoulder. And then if I bring them to 10 feet, they're going to do the same thing, but now about a 7.5 foot adjustment over their shoulder. Once I bring them beyond the 10-foot line, I want them to square up and then look to set over their ear. And we'll talk about that more in depth as we get deeper here. For right now, I'm going to start right in front of them so they can work on taking the ball off the top of their forehead with their elbows in line with their eyes, cushion, leading with their thumbs, finishing back behind their head evenly. Let's see what it looks like. Will you all catch for each other? Noah's going to set 3 in a row, and then Kahia's going to come in, set 3 in a row. Each time they'll talk once as they come in.
I'm in. I'm in.
Same pocket, she'll finish with open palms back behind her head, balancing the feet every time.
I'm in.
Nice. Notice Noah keeps her palms open all the way through that finish. You can pause it on your screen and check it out. Okay, gets her feet to the ball. Ball on her forehead, elbows in line with her eyes. Nice clean lift. Really nice. Keep rolling.
I'm in.
Every time, you better make sure you're checking that setup as you come in. Clean setup, 12 inches between your knees. Make sure your hands lift together. They should not be lifting one at a time or independently. Every time, your hands should lift together. Now, I'm just going to move out and change the angle a little bit so they add on a piece here. And that's what this is about with this setting training. Just adding on a piece. So, before I was standing in front of them, I made it really easy for them to square up and then set back over their head. Now I'm going to start in that area 5-6 seam. I'm going to toss. They'll start facing me. As the ball's in the air, they're going to get square to that 2.5 foot spot in front of them and then set back over their head. For right now, Noah's got a partner, Kahia's got a partner who can be their checks and balances and let them know, am I square, am I not square? Maybe you have the people in your gym throw out a word if they aren't square, and if they are square, they don't say anything. If you're training by yourself, the person tossing to you can help. If you're tossing to yourself, then you better make sure you get a mirror or put yourself on a camera. Okay, any cell phone these days can work out for that. And then you're going to work on that consistent overhead set. So I'm just going to change my angle. They'll set 2 in a row and then switch each time. No, early square. Nice. You notice those shoulders are perfectly 2.5 feet on that left side. Okay, start facing me.
I'm in.
She speaks. She sets back, over her head. This time she's going to get both feet down before she releases the ball. Boom, just like that.
I'm in.
Over the head. Boom, nice set. Notice the palms. The palms are super important. Showing the palms where you want that ball to go.
I'm in.
Both feet to the ball. Really nice. They finish back behind their head. The thumbs lead the move. Every time. Boom. Good.
I'm in.
in level 1, the reason we call these generic sets is in the future, as you get more advanced as a setter or as a setter trainer, you want to have a couple different tempos you can run the ball. A first step tempo, a second step, a third step, maybe even a past fourth step, but that's all for the future, level 2 and level 3. For right now, level 1, you want to make sure your ball has pretty good shape. In the front set, your triceps finish about eye level, it's above the net, and it's round. On the overhead set, you finish behind your head, show your palms, it's round. The next thing we're going to talk about is that overhead set with them coming off the net. So if I bring Noah and Kahea towards area 5 or towards area 1, they're still going to do their best to square up to that left side, and they're going to work on creating an angle over their shoulder and finishing with their palms. So where you'll recognize this from is on the around the world drill and the revolver drill. This is where that move starts. So starting with the wrists and then finishing with the arms, making sure we release the set before we get ready to turn and cover. All right, so I'm going to start in front of them to make it simpler, and then I'm going to start shifting myself as we go. Here we go. So we're going to work one ball towards area 5, one ball towards area 1, and then you two switch. Here we go. Square to me first, over the shoulder. Nice. Square to me first, over the shoulder. Not bad. Switch. Make sure we talk as we come in. Okay. Square to me first, over the shoulder. Both feet down this time. Square to me first. Nice. Square to me first, over the shoulder. Square to me first. Really nice. And I'm going to encourage them to make sure that they don't lose that finish in their palms as we get more advanced in this. I want that clean finish. The palm should show where that ball is going to go every time. Wherever those palms finish, as long as they're together, that's where that ball is going to end up. Both feet down. Really nice over the shoulder setting. So now I'm going to adjust myself, and I want to be clear. Right now, the reason that I'm starting in area 4 in front of them and between the 5-6 seam is this is where I want them to get comfortable with squaring up. Eventually, I'm going to show myself getting from area 1 and even behind them in area 2. So they have to work on all 4 positions of the ball coming in. For right now, I want to get them comfortable, and I want to get you comfortable with that ball coming in from 5-6 seam before I develop. Square first. Square first. Square left side first. Square first. Didn't quite make it square on that one, huh? Towards area 5, square first. Pretty good. Towards area 1. Not bad. Square first. Nice extension. Show those palms. So if there's one thing I'd like from both of them to add on, and from you two as well, is to make sure that we're checking ourselves while we're in training. So right now there's no second responsibility. Right now we don't have to turn and cover. We don't have to turn and get back in defense. We don't have to be the secondary attacker. So after we finish each set, let's be good about shoulders, hips, knees, toes, checking that we're 2.5 feet from the left side, releasing that ball. That's what it can look like. So we've talked about the left side set, what's important, balanced feet, just like the footwork we showed you in the first videos, making sure that our lift is clean every time, making sure we cushion, show the palms on our extension, triceps are about the height of the eyes on that left side set, palms and elbows finish behind our head on the overhead set, and making sure that we're working as hard as we can to get consistently square to that left side spot. So that's probably the most challenging thing for new setters coming in, is consistently getting square when that ball is within 15 feet of the net. So work hard at it, understand what's important about getting off the net, getting our feet square, what situations you're going to use the 3-step, what situations you're going to use the 4-step, and then if there is a situation necessary to use the 5-step or more, getting comfortable with those, getting consistent with those is really important, talking yourself through it. All right, next thing we're going to learn is how to start on that pipe set. So again, using what you learned from the Around the World drill and the revolver drill, how can you get comfortable cushioning the ball and being triple threat on top of the forehead, and then beginning that movement off the shoulder with your hands, finishing it with your arms, making sure you release the set first, and then you can turn and open up towards the attacker. But what happens a lot with people who set the pipe or any of the back row attacks is they start to turn off their shoulders and their hips prematurely facing the set, and that's a tell for the defense to know what you're going to do. So early on in our career, we want to be good about being as deceptive as we can while still delivering a pretty good ball. All right? So I'm going to start in front of them. They'll alternate, and I'm going to ask them to shag their own ball each time on the way out. So Noah's going to set a pipe. Ideally, the ball bounces in front of the 10-foot line, because that's how we're going to lead an attacker. Right now, I'm not real concerned with where the ball ends up, but I want that to be her mindset. Ideally, her set lands in front of the 10-foot line. That way, it peaks for sure in front of the 10-foot line, so the hitter can broad jump a little bit to get it. She's going to make sure she's square to me before she turns to her ball that's bouncing. After she finishes the set, she'll snatch up her ball that's bouncing, and next time she comes in, she'll bounce past to me as she enters and say, I'm in, okay? Here we go.
I'm in.
Both of them are going to work at that consistent footwork, making sure they show their palms. They talk as they come in, so they're in that habit of leadership. And they're going to work to get their ball to start peaking and landing in front of the 10-foot line. There's a good one. Nice. Keep working. Good. Work. Palms every time. Showing those palms. Notice the balance in their feet. Notice the consistent talk. Every time they have both feet down. Grounded through the inner thighs. Making sure that they're pushing down into the ground from their inner thighs, inner calves, inner arches. Okay? No imbalance in their feet. Always a slight bend in their knees. Ready to move. Not bad. Really nice. Now I'm just going to adjust my angle a little bit as I did before. They're going to start facing me, and then they're going to get square to that left side, still set the pipe over the shoulder, shag their own, be bouncing me the ball.
I'm in.
Get both feet down next set.
I'm in. I'm in.
That time Galileo was almost over to the 10-foot line. We're trying to get them to square up 2.5 feet every time. Check it out. Really nice there by Noah.
I'm in.
Perfect fix by her. Perfectly square. So I should not be able to read the Setter College logo on their shirt if I'm standing in area 6. By the time they touch the ball, if I'm standing in area 6, I should not be able to read the Setter College logo on their shirt. Really nice. Nice.
I'm in. I'm in.
So I'm going to move it back in front of them this way. Now I'm going to start bringing them off the net. So here's a little trick when you all are setting really anything from off the net, but especially when you're setting the back row attack. Here's a rule. Make sure you write this down in your notebook because you're going to hear us repeat this throughout the course. When you come off the net, or if you go lower as a setter. So Noah, show what it's like to bend to make a set really low. If you have to go low as a setter, or if you have to come off the net, you want to set the ball higher and faster to the location. okay? Higher and faster. So as I take them off the net for these balls, some will be inside the 10-foot line, some will be beyond. They'll be using a 3-step move, 4-step move, and 5-step move. I'm gonna make sure that they lead the ball into space so they don't set it further off the net. If they're coming off the net, they wanna set the ball more towards the net with a little bit of lead, L-E-A-D. And once they get ready to touch that ball, I'd like for them to be square to me at the left side, again, so I have less of an idea of where they're gonna set the ball. Myself as a defender, I shouldn't be able to tell where they're gonna set the ball until they've already released it out of their hands. So I'm gonna move them towards diagonal 5 and towards diagonal 1, diagonal 1 and diagonal 2, and they're gonna work at creating the angle to set the ball to the center of the court. So some of these will be pipes as a front set, some of these will be pipes as a back set. Check it out. Really nice. Got it. Really nice square. Right back over her head. Okay? I'm going to keep talking as they go here. A common mistake that people make as they set the back set on the pipe is they end up pushing the ball too far using so much thumb. Okay? If that happens to you, try out just setting the ball almost on top of your own head and see if that helps you locate the back set pipe a little bit better. Okay? Just like this. Back set pipe just on top of her head. Square into me first every time. Nice. Got it. Slide out of there. Square to me first. Alright, on these last 2 sets each, I'm going to challenge Kahea to get both feet down before she touches the ball every time. I'm going to challenge Noah to make sure she's aggressive about snapping the ball out of her hands to get more height on her touch and finishing with her palms. 2 more each. Let's see. Good. Alright, now I'm just going to move it back to my spot here and I'm going to challenge the same thing from them. I'm going to move them towards diagonal 1 and towards diagonal 2 and see if they can maintain that square and release. Really nice. Strong triceps on the finishes, both feet down in the air. That's it. That's it. Okay. Alright, so the best thing about the 6-week setter, other than this information that you're getting, so I guess it's the second best thing, is we're putting you in a scenario where you can see live corrections. Okay, so we don't put out this perfect product on the camera where there's no flaws and it's really challenging for you to tell how you at home can improve. You get to see some really well executed reps, you get to see some corrections, you get to see some things we want to do, some things we don't want to do, and how you can build your game up. What you notice about these two is they're very good about never twice. So if they make what we perceive as a mistake in our system, there's not a whole lot of negative reaction from them, and they come right back with the correction each time. They're able to come right back in and do it better the next time. And that's how I'd like you to approach it at home. If you're having trouble with one skill, keep chipping away at it and just take it a piece at a time. So there's a lot of stuff we're talking about, from early feet, being an athlete first, and being a setter once they arrive. All right, that's really important. Not running with their hands above their head. Making sure once they arrive, their hands lift together and it's not 1, 2, or 1 at a time. They do a really good job with that. Working on that consistent square. Can we be triple threat to the left side, 2.5 feet off the net as much as possible? And then making sure that they understand what's important about the release. Left side, cushion, leading with the wrist, finishing with the triceps high. Overhead, leading with the thumbs, finishing with the hands and arms behind the head. On the back row set, making sure that they extend, show their palms, and square up first to lead the set. And then now the last thing we're going to show you is getting ready to go across the net. So men's game, women's game. If you're a setter, you want to have some kind of purpose of being offensive. You want to make sure that it's possible and threatening for you to be offensive. So we can start on the ground, learning how to set the ball over the net. We can do that at 10 years old. We can do that at 6 years old. We can do that at 25 years old. We can do that at 40 years old. This is a jam that shouldn't be used often, but if it's timed well, it can keep the defense on their toes and keep the team honest. So just vice versa from what we were working, going right to left with that pipe set. Now we're going to work on going from our forehead and the ball coming from our left, going over the net to our right. So the way they're going to start setting this up is I'm going to start them 5 to 8 feet off the net, and they're going to work on trying to get a low flat trajectory across the tape to make that ball go right to the middle of the court on the 10-foot line on the opponent's side. That's where the defense is usually not. Okay, it depends on the system a team's running, and if they run a system where they have somebody stand there, there's other places you can put the ball. But against a lot of teams, area 3 right on the opponent's 10-foot line is a really good spot to dump. So check out what it looks like. Alright, so the person waiting is going to catch the other person right there. Noah's going to back up, start about 8 feet off the net. I'll take that. You start on the 10-foot line right there. Perfect. She's going to dump 2 in a row, and you just kind of flip it back to the end of the net, and then you guys switch, right? Stand. Here we go. Feet to the ball. She's going right to left. Working on that low trajectory. Good. Go to the switch. Nice. Perfect forehead. Notice they show the palms where they want that ball to go. Consistent. Triple threat. Squaring to the left side here. Nice. Squaring to the left side. Balanced feet so it looks the same as all their other routes. Good. Good. Nice palms. Every time. Now I'm going to ask them to add their vocals.
I'm in. I'm in.
Good. Now the next thing we're going to do is as they come in, they're going to start in the setter's box, 2.5 feet off the net, 1 step right of center, 2 feet off the net, 1 step right of center. As I toss, Noah's going to either use her in-system move of right, left, right, or she's going to use a 4-step move to get balanced up, look triple threat, square up to me, and then set the ball over the net, working on the trajectory necessary to get the ball about 6 inches above the top of the tape, getting down to the opponent's ground fast. Check it out. Really nice. Flat trajectory.
I'm in.
Good. Set it box. Boom. The net, square first. Boom. Really nice. Right there. Good. Pretty good. Notice their ball doesn't rotate or spin because as it comes into their hands, it's even. And as it comes out of their hands, it's even. Okay? This is all wall work. You can work on that consistency of your hands starting on the wall. If you can get the ball clean on the wall, you can get the ball clean on the court. Nice. As I did before, only thing I'm going to add now is coming from 5-6 seam. They're going to start facing me, and then they're going to square to the left side, make that 2-hand set over with the flat trajectory. Check it out.
I'm in.
Really nice.
I'm in.
Get both feet down. Both feet down. Nice.
I'm in.
That's it. Ball from the forehead. We make the move across the net. Notice how well they're doing with that consistent square. They're not facing me. Every time as the ball's in the air, they're maneuvering and manipulating their body to square to the left side, and then going aggressive with that 2-hand set over, showing their palms, keeping their hands open. pretty good stuff. Now, the reason we call this generic four-way setting is from here, you can learn all sorts of different kinds of manipulations. You can work at setting the short side, setting the long way, setting towards the net, setting off the net, making sure that you have different kinds of tempos to each one of these. That's all next level when we get into level 2 and level 3. For right now, the most important thing you can do for your game is have the ability to set the left side, have the ability to set the right side, have the ability to set the back row, and have the ability to be offensive. And from there, you start to add pieces. How do I set the middle? How do I set my outside hitters? How do I set a faster tempo? How do I set a tempo that's not as quick? No, I don't necessarily want to call it a slower tempo, but that's the reality of it. And then how do I be offensive, right? We can get more advanced with all this stuff as we go through the course. Right now, this is the best thing you can do for yourself. So we're going to end their session with what we call a 10-ball drill. They're going to step in from one of the different positions. I'm going to ask them to either come in from halfway row 4 or halfway row 1, which we'll go through when we talk about rotations and setting up. And then they're just going to get 10 balls in a row where they get to go freestyle. The only thing I'm going to ask them to do is at least go twice in a row with each set that they choose. So they could go 2 left sides, 2 right sides, 2 pipes, 2 dumps, and then start it over. Or they could go 2 left sides, 2 more left sides, 2 more left sides, 2 overheads, 2 pipes, and be done. Whatever they want to do. If they want to go 10 in a row, one type of set, they can. But the only thing I'm going to ask of them is that they go 2 in a row so that they work on consistency and have the ability to repeat. All right, so I'm going to pull out a new cart. We're going to get 10 balls in a row each, and we'll shut it down from there. Noah's starting halfway rotation 4. The reason she's not starting all the way rotation 4 is this allows us to be mindful of having to start in some positions other than standing in the setter's box, yet it's not going to take her so much time to get from point A to point B each time. So every time I'm going to ask her to reset to halfway row 4 after 2 balls that she sets. She gets 10 in a row. Let's see it. Hope I can count. Is that 10? This time I'm going to count. Alright, so as Kahea comes in, that first time with Noah, I put her all in system for the whole time. Maybe that's a situation you're doing with your setter this time. Maybe that's a situation you're doing with yourself for this time. Sometimes when you're ready to get more advanced, you can have your tosser or you can toss yourself and move around to different locations. I'll demo that a little bit with Kahea here where each time she won't be true in system. I'm going to make her have to move her feet somewhere. She'll have the same responsibility as Noah though. Get square, look the same, release the ball, reset. Let's see. So we gave you a whole lot of stuff you can work at. Make sure you're taking down notes in your notebook. Make sure you're practicing this stuff in your own gym. You could even practice some of this stuff at home if you get yourself a tosser. Thanks to Noah and Kahea for helping us out. We'll see you next time.